Back again for another video. This one's going to be probably quick. I want to talk about humility and being humble. When people think of humility, they think of an emotion tied to self-worth. They think of it as I guess you can say, the ability to reflect on oneself and position relative to someone else's, which is partly true. As you can see, I'm at home right now, but I figured I'd crank this video out real quick. I personally had to deal with humility and being humble in my lifetime several times, because once again, the reality is unrelenting. It won't let up. It won't give you an opportunity to slack. And if you do slack, you'll pay for it dearly. I want to talk about how I became to be a humble person, and how that played out in my lifetime. I've been through many things in my life due to the environment I grew up in, and due to the places that I have been and the people that I've met. They've taken me to different environments, and that's not just the physical ones, but in philosophical ways as well. But mainly what I want to talk about are the physical environments that can cause you to humble yourself. When you think about the vastness of the universe, a lot of people don't conceptualize how big the universe is. There are stars that are billions of times larger than our own sun. There are planets that are completely made of diamonds. There are surfaces of atmosphere that are millions of degrees so hot that just being around being in its elliptical orbit can destroy whole planets over a course of time, depending on how close they are. But anyways, the point I want to make is that there is always someone bigger than you. There is always someone better than you. There is always someone brighter than you. There is always someone who can outclass you in whatever you do. And this was a hard lesson that I had to learn. I would say the only thing that anyone can outclass you in what you do is being yourself. That also plays into being humble, because it makes you realize that you're not the only person on this earth, but you're the only one of you, which is a very humble thing to say. Humility plays out in a lot of forms, being beaten in basketball games and having to shake the opponent's hand. It takes a humble person to do that, because humility is the opposite of pride, in my opinion. Pride is a presence of oneself in their ability of what they can do based on other parameters external to themselves. What I've come to learn is that humility is a very necessary thing in order for growth, because without realizing that there are people other than you, without realizing there are people who can be better than you at certain things, you can't realize that you have a greater opponent. Therefore, you can't actualize any meaningful growth out of not having an opponent better than yourself. Even if there is someone who is blatantly better than you, there are some people that are so much in denial that they will ignore that, and they won't humble themselves to the person being better than them at whatever it is. Therefore, they miss the opportunity for growth. Because without opponents greater than yourself, there is no growth. And in my last video, I said the greatest opponent that you'll ever face is the future you. And even a formidable opponent is the past you. That one, that's definitely a formidable opponent. But I want to make it clear that I'm not a completely humble person. I can be honest with that. I am cocky with some of the things that I do, some of the things that I know, because I feel so confident in it. But I always come to a place where I have to remind myself that I need to be humble in order to grow. This is a very necessary thing when it comes to improving one's life. It's realizing that there is someone better than you. And it isn't necessarily always about what another person is in relative to yourself. It's just the fact that there are other people in this world in existence that live different lives than you do, that come from different backgrounds than you do, that offer different things to life than you do. For that reason, you should definitely be humble about where you stand in life. Humility can also teach you great lessons. For instance, I think about The Karate Kid and the first movie that came out for that. And a lot of those lessons in that movie were lessons of humility. They showed the kid that, until you go with the basics of life, you can't get to a master position. And even masters themselves have to show humbleness. And that humbleness usually comes in the way of wisdom greater than themselves. There is no one that is completely omnipotent in this universe. I'm supposed to be expecting somebody, so. But there is no one, perfect. There's always a crack in their hull, always. That's how we're built as humans. So the quicker you come to realize that your position in life is one that is unique and that is your own, but is not better than anyone else's, you can always find room for growth. When you become so cocky and so full of yourself, you blind yourself from growth. You block yourself from growth. You blind yourself from the direction and the path of growth. So I would charge everyone to be very cautious of that, because pride and confidence can often derail you from advancement. When you think you got it, you may not have it, and that could be to the detriment of yourself, even your life. When you become too confident, I work in a field where it's pretty dangerous, and you could die at any point in time if you are too confident about how to handle these situations. So I often keep in mind that I need to follow the procedures and steps, and don't become so cocky that I know everything and I know how to do this and I've been doing this for years. Those are the people that die. This, like I said, this is a fundamental of life. These are things that could help you improve the direction that you want to go in life. I deal with a lot of virtues. I deal with a lot of, like I said, fundamentals. These things are very important to me. These things have gotten me to where I am. And though I may not use them all the time, I always keep them in my mind of what I should be doing, even when I'm not following those very principles. I often try to make corrections along the line and say, hold on, stop, I can't do it this way. I try to remain a man of high principle, though I am not perfect. And I wouldn't expect anyone else to be. Although at the same time, we all have room for growth. There is a point where you have to accept accountability, like I said in my previous videos, of your consciousness, of your actions and your impact on this world. So before you go out and say that you're the best at anything, you're the biggest, keep that humility, because if not, it's going to be to your detriment. But anyways, this has been the Wolf in Better Clothes. Peace be with you all, and have a good